All right, so this is the final Bendu config test. So what I'm doing is I've got 6 sleeves, and I've just finished uploading it onto my Profi core, the config, and this is the one, my brass edition Profi chassis core. Now, the couple caveats. So this core still has the V2.2 board. So this is not a V3 board, it's a V2.2 board. But that being said, it's easy enough to make the adjustment in the config to define a Profi V3 with the same settings, because this is on Profi OS 7.7 beta. It was the latest 7.7 beta. I think they're out with 7.8 now. But and this should compile on 7.8 just fine, but for now I've compiled this on 7.7. So what I'm testing for now is this is just sort of a final sound test. I want to make sure that the clash threshold settings that I have for this will work in at least the different sleeves that I have. So I can only test them on the sleeves that I have. So I have a Kirak, an Akoa Obsidian, a beryllium, a promethium, a feldspar sugar, and the rhodium. So what I'm looking for is basically like false clashes. So the config is set to default at a 1600 sound level, and these cores, I think you're going to continue using the same components in these cores. So they're using a KR 28mm high bass speaker, which is a 3-watt 4-ohm speaker. So the max sound volume level in a config for the speaker would be at 3000. That would be the absolute cap, 100%. And you almost never want to set a config at 100% of a speaker's capacity. That's a quick way to burn it out. So usually you want to set the speaker volume to somewhere between 60 to 80%, 80% absolute cap, for at least for a factory release, for something that you do for all of the sabers that you make by default. And if individual owners want to set them even higher, let them do it at their own risk. So this one currently is set somewhere around 60%. All right, so this is sounding okay in the rhodium. So I'm going to slip this one out. And I'm just going to grab these sleeves at random. I have them in a pile over here. So this one is the promethium. Now the rhodium I expected to be okay because it's got less venting. It doesn't have vent holes in the back, so it's the sound in the rhodium is a little bit more subdued than the other sleeves. want to make sure I can get a stab and a melt and tip drag with these.
Name's Kyle Katarn.
This is okay in the Prometheum.
Arcane. Battery power level.
Should probably replace the battery.
Arcane.
1 second, we'll go grab another battery. Alright, so next one up is the Kirac. And then I also want to make sure note that this Kirac, this was your Kirac 1. So the venting is a little bit different in this one because it's basically just got that sort of small crack in the mold. But it should be similar enough. Okay, so not getting any false clashes on any of that so far. So far so good. And then so just for those of you out there who are familiar with the defines on Profio S7, so one of the things I did on this config is I invoked the audio suppression threshold G define. I think it's audio suppression G. And that is because on Profio S7, you've got your clash threshold, which defines clash sensitivity, but then you've got the audio suppression threshold define, which helps for sound fonts that have like a lot of extra bass that might end up producing other sort of other false effects just due to the loudness of the sound font. And so what that define does is it tamps down the sensitivity based on the levels of the sound font. And I've currently got that value set to a 5, which is fairly low. But I went through several levels of tuning on these before I'm getting to this video, so I'm fairly certain that this isn't going to produce any false clashes. I just wanted to put these through every sleeve that I own on camera so that we have, you know, sort of some documented recording of me doing this. And this is the my feldspar sugar.
Name's Kyle Katarn.
I'm going to tighten this down just a little bit more. There we go. Still rocking a little bit in the...
Darth Undeadu. Not everything is what it seems.
Okay. So we're good on the feldspar sugar. Save the obsidian for last because I'm anticipating that one to be the loudest. So this is the beryllium. I would expect this one to be almost identical in sound performance to the promethium. Now the feldspar sugar is one of the louder ones simply because the sleeve is shorter, so the speaker is closer to the pommel.
My name is Sam Flynn.
power.
Okay, so last but certainly not least, the Ecoa Obsidian. So, like I mentioned, I expected this one to be the loudest one. That's why I saved it for last.
This is our galaxy, Sidious.
Okay, so in terms of the sound test, I'm fairly happy with how these are testing with this config. So I think the sound level is just about right. It might be able to be tuned up a little bit more, but if that were the case, I would at least want to go back and test it out again, at the very least on this one and on the feldspar, since those are the two of the loudest of the sleeves that I have. So the Kirak, Promethium, Beryllium, and Rhodium are much quieter. Well, not much, but they're quieter. The Ecoa Obsidian and the Feldspar Shogo are degrees louder. This one, just because of the way it's vented, and it's vented straight out the back, and it's sort of tilted. Also, I'm not sure if it's also because of the material. I don't know. But for whatever reason, this one is much louder than like those other four sleeves. And then the Shogo is also much louder, just because there's less space for the sound to travel, so it's shooting right out the back. And so that one's also very loud. So if I were to tune up the config even just a little bit, I would at least want to test them on those two sleeves, just to verify that it's not producing false clashes all over again. So for the time being, I think the config is solid for what you need it for. And again, I will get with Brian Connor, ask him about the wiring issue, to see if there's a way that you all can wire your LED differently, so that it's not drawing power directly even when the Saber goes to sleep. And then I'm also hoping that I'll get back at least one of my Sabers that I'm having built right now that's got a V3 board, so that my hope is that I can get testing done on this on a V3 board, even if it's not a Bendu Saber, so that I can at least do one upload to a V3 board to make sure the config is clean, even though I'm pretty sure it will be. but I don't really know what to say to expect because I've never had a Saber with a V3 board yet. But I've got 3 that are getting built right now. So and one of them's supposed to be done like in a week or so. So anyway, more on that later, I guess. But yeah, so for the time being, I'll follow up with Brian and the ProfEOS team and ask him about the that idle timeout with the wiring diagram for the lit. What am I trying to say? For the LEDs on the power buttons, to see if there's a way to rewire those so that they also time out. All right, talk to you later.